Well, good morning. This is Knox County Commissioners, Knox County, Ohio, our September 9th meeting of 2025. We have Kyle Webb with us, give us our Knox County IT department reports. And now, thank you, Kyle, for being here.
Thank you.
We'll let you go ahead and educate us.
Sounds good. We've been busy. It doesn't maybe reflect as much on the list. A lot of the day-to-day activities end up taking up a lot of time, but there's nothing necessarily noteworthy to point out. One of the big things, so that Trevor's been working hard on is the auditor's office is deploying a software. It's called MSPP, and it's an integration for their real estate and commercial property appraisal, the tool that they're utilizing. And so we've been working with the vendors on getting that deployed. And I think we're pretty much the first county that's integrated these two softwares together. So Trevor spent somewhere around, as of last night, 47 hours of his time in the last month trying to work with the developers and work out all the bugs to make sure everything's operating. So last night we got the first computer it installed on. So I think our part is kind of finished in terms of they're going to test it. We'll have to install it on some other computers, but beyond that, it'll be between the two development teams to work out any bugs and do that. So the big part of it has been completed, but that took a large amount of time.
So you said on one computer. So how many computers?
Every computer, pretty much most of the auditor computers and most of the treasurer computers will end up, anything with MVP will have this installed. But it's really quick. It's just a process of getting the servers communicating and the software installing the servers and the databases talking together. That part is what took the 40 something hours, is the two companies figuring out how to get their software to communicate. So once we're at this point, it's really quick to install it on any computer. Just that setup took a long time, but hopefully that's over and done with, and we won't have to spend too much more time on trying to get the software communicating.
So were we the guinea pig then for us?
It does sound like it, like we may have been the guinea pig for this, but it happens sometimes.
Okay.
Other things, so I'll give kudos to Blake because he kind of got pulled into it. But we assisted in the sheriff's office of that search of the 77-year-old woman that was east side of the county. But they were out there and there was no cell coverage. There was no, even radios were operating out where they were. So to assist in that, they asked if we would help them out. They brought in some Starlinks to get satellite internet operating out there. So he helped out and assisted with two different Starlink deployments. One was using the chaplain's own personal Starlink they got running, and then they went out and bought actually one for the sheriff's office, but that was invaluable. That was allowed them to dispatch and everything. So I think from now on, the sheriff's office is going to have a Starlink available. They may even be looking at getting another one for incidents like these, which make a lot more sense. It used to be the thing to do was you would have like a router firewall that would have like a cellular device installed, but there are parts of the county that don't even have good cellular service. So those fall short, and Starlink can give you real actual high-speed broadband access anywhere. So that was really useful, and I'll give a lot of credit to Blake. He was out there till late working with them and assisting in that. So we were happy to be able to provide that assistance.
So I know a couple of years ago we talked about Marks towers and repeaters on vehicles. So out in that area, even the repeaters with the patrol cars weren't able to function.
There's some areas down near Bladensburg that are you just can't. You almost can't get connectivity down there
Yeah.
in that area. We have a little bit up in the Danville, like out in that area, Ricky, but I think that Blazeburg
It's
area.
Philly too, that's
Yeah.
part of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that's the kind of the double-edged sword of some of the newer technologies. They're faster, they're more secure, they have all these benefits, but generally that means they don't have as long of a distance. Or they can't penetrate through buildings as well. So that's where you get like the Marks repeaters that installed in commercial buildings and things. So when you're deep inside of a large commercial building, your radios won't work without, a Marks repeater. Same thing with cell phones. As cell phone speeds increase, the radio bandwidth gets real thin and small. That's how you get the speed. However, then those higher speeds can't penetrate through concrete, can't penetrate through metal as they used to. So then you have to install all these repeaters everywhere and more cell towers. And so it's a kind of a double-edged sword of, yes, we have higher speeds and more availability, but they can't go as far. So you end up with these kind of dead spots, unfortunately.
And we looked, Bill, I think it's probably been maybe a year and a half ago or so. I did meet with Mark's Radio from the state. They were here because there was some interest about putting another tower down in that area. And I think when we met, they had me go and we basically had Justin pulling the map office. Where's this high ground down in that area that does the county or a township own, and there was no high ground that was in any kind of governmental hands to be able to put a tower on there. Cause I think at that time the state was looking at if the county paid to put the tower in, then they would put the equipment on it, is how that was gonna go. And those towers are, I think it's probably gonna be about $400,000 for us to put a tower. And we did look at that, but there was just no ground that was owned by us or the township that would be in a high area that they thought would provide coverage, because the state was actually looking at getting some better coverage even over into Shawsham County out of that tower as well. So that was kind of a dead zone that they had identified. And so it kind of never went anywhere at that point because there wasn't any property to put a tower on.
Did I hear are they phasing Marks out though? Was that,
Yeah.
no,
We talked about it.
they talked about phasing out. Okay.
Yeah. Well, one of the good things though, future wise, that will solve some of these problems, maybe not directly for Marks, but for other communication is, there's been a lot of push for direct to cell phone technology, satellite. I know SpaceX it just recently announced yesterday, it was like $9 billion. They bought up some more spectrum, but basically there will be the ability for phones in areas where there is no cell coverage or anything. They'll actually be able to communicate directly with a satellite to do a phone call, or at least right now they can do text messages through that. So there is ability, and I'm sure that Marks and other people will figure out how to utilize that to fill in some of these dead spots in the future. But that's something that's coming up. But yeah, I want to give kudos to Blake for helping out in that.
And Blake's last name is.
Blake Ward, yeah. And ongoing projects, we've been still pushing out replacements. The original batch that we ordered, they're all done. It's just
Original 50.
the original, 60 something when you counted what we had in the county. Now it's just odds and ends that people have ordered since then. So we're pretty well done. There's one or two left that we have to do before October, but that's not a problem at all. Nothing major there. And a big one that I've spent a lot of time on in the last month is the compliance with the House Bill 96, the new ORC 9.64, pertaining to the cybersecurity program that's required by municipalities and political subdivisions. So the county has to have a policy, and it was kind of murky how the law was written of what the deadlines were. Some things originally said that you had to have the program adopted by the end of September, and other things kind of hinted that you didn't have it till January 1st. It looks like it's January 1st. Originally, it kind of looked like you had to have it adopted in end of September and then implemented by January 1st, but now it seems like it's more to the January 1st date of adoption and implementation. But we have, I had created documents for all this for a formal policy. I've gone back through and modified them to be in full compliance and list out House Bill 96 requirements in those things. But it's basically things like incident response management, policies and procedures, risk assessment templates, these kind of formal policies, which, there were things that were being done, but we didn't have a formally written policy and procedure for it. So now we're gonna have those that we'll bring, Chip review in the prosecutor's office, and then we'll bring it to the commissioners as an actual adoption. But just the things pertain to that law, and then I'm gonna write some more generic ones for other supported agencies that we support so that they have something to work off of, because it's kind of hard to say someone that doesn't know IT, it's difficult to kind of put together any kind of cybersecurity program that makes any useful sense without some IT input. So I'm gonna just create some generic ones that we can send out, and then we can modify to meet specific needs of, like Gambier or the others. So
Yeah, that'd be good.
we're working on that. Sheriff's office, there's a lot of vendor changes that are happening over there with their the kiosks that you pay bail and those kinds of things. That's all changing. You've got the security system, that stuff changing. So we've been working with them and the vendors on coordinating all of that. So that's taken up some time as well. We still have some of the network equipment, battery backups installed. All the critical ones are in place. It's just some of the ancillary ones we have to put in. That password change tool that I've discussed before. We have to start discussing firewall replacements. So we're trying to determine which way to go, because ours will need replaced in, I believe it's May of 26. So we start getting budgeting folks out there for that.
Yeah, Tom, could we go back to the
Yeah.
password change thing? Because when we did our audit review, there was a discussion in there about the frequency, and you had mentioned that we were looking at, so you'd only have to do it once a
So-
year.
It depends on old guidelines from the NIST standards, the National Infrastructure Technical Standards from the federal government. It used to specify things like, every 90 days. That was kind of the standard. But all of these technical standards have actually switched. The newest guidelines are now to do passphrases instead of passwords, which passphrases are much longer. But then because of that, and they're a lot more secure, because of that, the frequency of change is reduced drastically. So basically the thing is, if you're only going to require 8 characters and some of the stuff that's required now in the former standards, then yes, you have to change every 90 days. But if you're going to switch to something where it's 16 characters and it's a passphrase, that's a lot more secure, would take a lot longer to break if someone was trying to hack in, then those you can push for a year. As long as the passwords are being monitored by another program that basically looks to see, has this password been compromised? Is it on the dark web? Is it, has it been found in another breach somewhere else? So that's where we're pushing towards. And the Auditor State's Office they're working off of the old standards right now. But the current standards for the nation are moving to the passphrases. So that was something you even brought up in the Leeds audit, was that they are moving to that as well. So the Auditor State, they're going to get in compliance there. They just are used to the old standard of the 90 days, 8 characters.
When will we move to that?
I hope to move to it soon. We haven't purchased the software yet. that does the password checks. Because that's the first piece is you want to get that tool in place that checks for if your password's been compromised in another breach, if it's been reused somewhere else where the password's been revealed, those kinds of strength of password tools that you need to have in place, and then you move to the passphrases. Otherwise, you turn into people setting passwords as like password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and that's not secure, but it meets the guidelines of it's 16 characters. So you got to have the other tools in place that just kind of monitor for there's certain things where you can ban words. So, being Knox County, you probably shouldn't put Knox County in your password if you're working in Knox County, because obviously that's something someone's going to focus on. So you can put something in place that says, okay, you can't use Knox County in your password because all those letters now have negated, and that's a lot easier to break into. So those kinds of specific tools that you can integrate make passwords a lot more secure. And that's what all of the standards in cybersecurity community has realized of forcing 90-day changes with 8-character passwords. What you turn into is people just adding numbers to the end of it, people just adding an exclamation mark afterward.
Guilty.
And and basically,
Getting it.
so basically you just turn into, it's not actually secure, you're just checking a box of compliance. So now the industry has pushed for it, and it's now being adopted to let's have more secure passwords that you have to change less frequently, as opposed to changing every 90 days, and then you end up with everyone writing it under their keyboard anyways. So so that's what we're pushing towards. And that's something where maybe the auditor, when you have those questions, the people conducting the audit, or at least doing the review of it, they may not catch it. But when you're talking to the people doing the audit and they question it, and you explain which framework you're basing your cybersecurity plan off of, they would see that, and that would be allowed. That's obviously a lot more secure than what was currently being allowed.
Thanks.
So, yeah.
Now, but I didn't ask you, or did I, a time frame as to when you think we'll be there?
So right now we're actually looking over if we're gonna do it this year. I bet the thing with subscriptions is, they're always, the prices are always changing. So we're actually doing our budget review. I'm going up with Mallory after this, and we're gonna see like where we are, if we can incorporate that in our current budget, or if we'll have to ask for more to do it this year, or if we do it the first of the year in the new budget. So that's what we're looking at right now.
Okay, thank you.
And then password, like firewall replacements, it's nice to standardize and all be under one system across all the different places, but we have to follow different guidelines, like criminal justice information compliance with leads requires a certain type of firewall that has a certain type of encryption. So it's difficult sometimes to get everyone on the same page, all on the same, product. So that's what we're looking at now of balancing of, do we stick with what we have in that brand, or we switch to a different brand? How much work does it entail to switch? What are the prices? And they always get you. It's funny when you'll get emails, especially from some of our current vendors, and like, you sign up for 3 years of our product, and we'll give you the firewall for free. And it's like, wow, that sounds amazing. Well, 3 years of their licensing for the product, $40,000-$50,000. It's like, okay, well, it's pretty much the fact that they make their money off of the licensing, not necessarily the firewall itself. And that's where it's kind of the industry has gotten to, unfortunately, is it's the ongoing subscriptions, and that we see it with everything. Everything's become a subscription-based model, which is a lot more difficult for a government entity to do, is subscription-based. We like to purchase once and have it. But that's just kind of getting phased out. It's just the way it is in the industry, unfortunately. So we're just trying to weigh all the positives and negatives of each manufacturer. We've been working with the police department, Mount Vernon Police Department. They've begun design phases for their new police department. So we met with them and their vendors, and trying to put together the design standards for the building, and what wiring will we need and where, and what type of wiring, and that kind of thing. So that's That's taken up some time. City Hall move planning, that's another thing that the city has going that we're involved in and working on. City phone system cleanup has been on our list and we've been knocking some of the smaller sites out for that. I have not seen anything on the IT agreement renewal, which we probably should start pushing back on.
Just stop helping him. Stop helping them.
Well, I mean, it just,
It's for next year.
it's for next year.
But
They're all,
yeah.
they've actually, this year has been the first year that they've been well paid up on time and everything. So we're happy, we finally fixed that. We just for the next contract agreement, we just
Yeah.
need to get
It's amazing
ironed out.
how quick people do things.
It is amazing
He's
how
done
that
that.
usually works, yeah. Things move fastly, or quickly, fastly is not, but quickly. And then again, with all the other things going on with the sheriff's office, with all their other vendors, I have not thrown any other wrenches in the plan by introducing any other changes. So we have put off the fax update and the life size. Both systems are working. So right now we figure we'll just get through their current projects and then we'll cross that when we get there. With the current projects out of the way, or as Andrew always says, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
So on the, with the sheriff's office and changing where we house the, things from court cases and all that, do we need to do a different security system out in that area to monitor it?
No,
Yeah,
it
that's
should
all
all
I heard.
integrate, yeah, and with our if it were far away, that might be something, but with it being right there, that can all integrate into the same system.
Okay.
I mean, you're gonna have to, like, say, you have to have more equipment over there to cover that building and stuff, but it won't need a whole new system for it.
Okay.
Yeah, and Aaron Oakley's working on all that for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Any other questions? Comments? I will say today is Mark's me being here for 6 years.
Wow.
So
Is it really?
time flies and you're having fun.
Well, we forgot to get the cake and.
Yeah, I know.
Other
Man.
things.
But yeah, thank you guys for all of your support and everything.
And
And
welcome to Knox County.
yeah, getting settled in the farm life.
The boxes all unpacked.
Not even close, but the necessities are unpacked, and that's what matters.
Well, the boxes are good toys for the kids to play with.
Yeah, there you go. Make forts out of it. Yeah.
And thank you and Blake for assisting the 77-year-old.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you
was,
so much.
he asked about it, he's like, I'm not sure how this, I'm like, well, we supported the law enforcement of the agencies, so we went out there and it was funny because Spectrum actually showed up to the sheriff's office for to install a modem for one of the other vendor things. And Blake had run out for that, but I get there and Blake's car's there and I'm like, well, where is Blake? And they mentioned, oh, he got in a car with someone else and they drove off. I'm like,
You
I
got
hope-
kidnapped.
yeah, so we were
Yeah,
joking
down that part of the world.
we were joking that Blake got kidnapped.
Yeah.
But he was returned safely.
And we have good news that she was.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He messaged us late that night that he was found safe and
Yeah,
everything.
by the way,
That's
your guy
real.
wandered into our patch of stuff. We're taking it for.
Yeah. So,
But good. Well, thank
Thank you.
Kyle.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right, now we got a few items for you. We need to approve our county benefit consortium Subco renewal rate acceptance for 2026 for the county medical and RX. And positive note, we only saw a 2% increase in premiums for 2026 and dental and vision rates will remain unchanged. So that's good news.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Then we have approve the Knox County program year 2025 for the CDBG contract with CDC of Ohio for administration of the critical infrastructure program relating to the village of Danville.
Motion to approve.
Second it.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then this is a follow-up from the hearing we had a couple weeks ago on the petition for annexation, regular petition for annexation for the 0.5324 acres from Union Township to the village of Danville. And without Hearing any objections, I think at the hearing, this is ready for you to approve. And I will say, once you approve this being a regular annexation, it won't take effect for 30 days from the date of your acceptance.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And Penny, there's nothing to sign here, correct?
No.
Yeah. All right, we authorized Penny Doyle, the clerk, executive assistant for the board, to complete all the Ohio Division of Unclaimed Fund forms on behalf of county offices. So we did this a couple years ago, and the state holding the unclaimed funds, there's several offices within the county that has funds. And so that's kind of a process for Penny to go through to get all the information and send that to get the funds back. And it really works out easier if you just authorize her to do that on your behalf. And then the money will come in and the general fund money will go to the general fund, but for the engineer and those offices, we'll send that money out to them. There wasn't a lot of money, but there was a lot of small ones, right?
36 so far.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we figured we would get our money back instead of letting it go to the Cleveland Browns stage project. So
Yeah,
Motion to approve.
Second it.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then the engineer sent down application for payment number 1 to Smalls Asphalt Paving for the Mishi Road resurfacing in the amount of $522,559.50.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye.
And then we have a contractor application for payment number 3 to Smalls, and this is for the annual resurfacing in 2025 in the amount of $917,134.06.
Motion to approve.
Second it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then we have a utility permit for Brightspeed Butler America, and this is on Main Street in Milford Township.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Then the last item you have here is approve a memorandum of understanding with Knox County Department of Job and Family Services and I Am Boundless for care coordination and services of Ohio RISE program. Doesn't appear to be any funding related to this. It's just that they will work together. The county JFS will agree to provide a workspace for one staff member. We agree to provide referrals to them for eligible care coordination.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and mentioned earlier, we have bills and transfers. There is one transfer that you will sign moving funds from the general fund to our capital fund. And again, that is to pay for the sheriff's jail security upgrade as well as just some miscellaneous items. So that's ready for you today as well.
You don't need a motion on that, right?
No, you'll sign it and that'll be your motion. Then just a couple updates. I have meeting with the architect today to go down to look at the future transit site. Now that the building has been completely demoed out on the inside, for him to take a look at some of that stuff. We have a pre-construction meeting as well today with him and Penny for the prevailing wage and modern builders to talk about the sheriff's project that we have going out there. And Commissioner Lester, I just wanted to let you know that I did get your memo from the fairgrounds asking for the demo of that house, and I talked to Sam, and there is funding still available. And I talked to Jeff Wintermute, he was gonna go out today, look at it and give us a price. Sam just needed to know how much, so.
Right.
If he's got it budgeted, so Jeff will get back to us soon on that, and then we can take care of
That'd be a
that.
good thing if we got some funds laying around.
Yeah, we'll get that done. And then, the back project is moving pretty well. We ran into just a little hurdle with the sprinkler systems out there on how those are gonna operate. I think yesterday we came up to a solution on that, and you can see the panels going up on the back. There'll be a couple more weeks here working on that. They work Saturday, Sunday, because they come here and stay until the work's done. So they work 7 days a week.
Really?
So it'll be a couple more weeks probably of that, working with the sign company on some proper signage. We've talked about putting a small sign on the back
above the new door that just says Chestnut Street entrance, because we refer to that
Yeah.
a lot of times.
Yes.
But talking to the sign company yesterday, that's fine, but we do have to petition to the city to add that sign. Even though we had a sign in the back that we took down and we're not replacing, that was above the elevator back in there.
Yeah.
But we still, I think, have to show that we had a sign there that we're not replacing, and then we're putting that one back. But we just want just simple words that won't really be a sign. It'll just be letters that say Chestnut Street entrance above the door back there. And then the Knox County Service Center sign, we could just go back on the building, basically where it was before we started the project. So, so he's gonna work on that for us. I think there's a permit fee you have to submit to get their approval, so we will do that. But I think we're still, hopeful for the first part of October to get that building not open, but it's really all predicated on those panels, and that's a lengthy process. I don't know if you've even noticed when they hang all those, there's a protective film over every single panel.
Mhm.
So they gotta get them all up, then you gotta go back when you're done and peel off every single one of those panels. Cause they don't wanna dent them or scratch them. But a few of them have been peeled off, and you can see around the garage, they're, you can visibly see those now. So we're moving along, and, it's been a long project, but we're hoping by 1st of October, we can let staff start using it again.
Right.
And that's all I have for you today.
Okay. Question on, so when our architect is here, is he gonna meet with you before the 2 o'clock meeting
Yeah,
about the sheriff
yeah.
thing?
Yeah, we're gonna run down there at 1. And then the meeting's here at 2. We're meeting here with the sheriff, and I invited the sheriff to come. Main thing for them is just security of the site, what they wanna, as far as modern builders access to that back area.
Yeah.
Certainly when they need to get in the electrical room, that'll be, have to go through some checkpoints when they start to run the electric back there. And then I think the sheriff reached out, they weren't sure what to do with the stuff in that building.
Yeah.
So I think they mentioned they were gonna get some storage units, put stuff in there, and then there's a lot of stuff in there that needs thrown away. It's just old chairs and, just junk, buy some stuff that's not evident, just that building was really how
Yeah, Joe.
stuff, yeah.
Mhm.
And so I told them, I think they're bringing a dumpster out, and they're just gonna build a dumpster on site with that kind of stuff.
Well, I know some people recommend you put a bike out by the road, you save $5. And then you anticipate someone steals it, and then you don't have to worry about it. So completion time, once this starts, we hoping that by the end of the year that they'll be done.
I'm not really sure. I think we'll find out when we meet today at 2. They normally provide us a schedule of completion. That as part of that pre-construction meeting. Yeah, I would think maybe 3-month project for that. The bulk of it is block work. Putting concrete block inside the building. Basically, that's the biggest part of the project.
Yeah.
And then the HVAC, heat and cooling will be a little bit, but it's mostly,
Yeah, you wanna control the temperature and the humidity in
Yeah.
there for that.
yeah, so it's mostly concrete block is gonna be the bulk of the work.
Thank you. Do you have to, Commissioner, see anything? Commissioner?
No, sir.
And for those who are monitoring where we're going today, we're going to Mount Gilead for district solid waste meetings. All 3 of the commissioners will be over there. Plus a few other people from the county. And then I think that's all we have, and then we'll be back here on Thursday. And so everyone have a good day. Yeah, call for the adjournment.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.